And that just about takes us to the end of the course. Now, obviously, you'll have seen that businessbookofthemonth.com isn't completely finished yet. That's because a lot of the design depends on me having content. So content for the navigation menu and blog posts and podcast episodes and whatever other about pages and things like that that I want to put up. But everything that I've shown you so far will mean that you can do that. And of course, it's also important to emphasize that the child theme Maron Pro, which I used as my basis for my design, isn't necessarily the child theme that you should use. However, you should definitely, in my opinion, use the Genesis framework and then select a child theme based on that. I've shown you exactly how to go about making those child theme changes, and hopefully you're quite comfortable with diving in there and doing that now. Of course, there's some things that you don't know. There's some things that I don't know, but the secret is to dive into that child theme and make the design changes through that. And keep a good eye on businessbookofthemonth.com moving forward, because I'm sure that by the time you look at the site, it will be a little bit more evolved than it appears in this course. So it'll probably be quite interesting to actually check it out and see what it's like now. But what did we cover in the course? Well, we started off with registering a domain. It's very important, in my opinion, to keep your domain separate from your website host. I like using GoDaddy and then pointing my domain name elsewhere. You can use a different provider for that if you want, but I do suggest pointing it elsewhere, retaining full control over your domain name if you do decide to use another host in the future. Number 2, selecting a host. When it comes to selecting a host, hopefully I emphasize the differences. You've got a shared host, which can be quite cheap, maybe from about $5 a month. You've got a specialist WordPress host, and you've got other hosts which can be more expensive. I recommend for most businesses to go with a specialist WordPress host, and that starts off with about $25 a month, which of course is what Traffic Planet hosting costs. Setting up WordPress and HostGator, if you've got a little budget, HostGator is a great option to go for. They'll start off with about $5 a month, so I've shown you how to do that. And also set up on Traffic Planet hosting as well, which is even more simple than getting set up on HostGator. Number 5, moving on to why I recommend using a WordPress-specialist host. Number 6, editing basic settings in WordPress. So once you've got your WordPress installed, you need to make sure that the whole dashboard is set up in a manner that will work for you as a business moving forward. Number 7, installation and initial setup of the Genesis framework. So that's very, very important to get right to begin with. Not very many settings there to get right, but have a look at those videos and get those settings done before you proceed with the design stage. And of course, the main design stage revolves around your child theme. So whichever child theme you select, make sure obviously it's relevant and got good reviews with regards to fitting in with the Genesis framework. So it's got to be a child frame that works with the Genesis framework. But if you choose a design theme based on reviews, popularity, and the design that you actually like yourself, then you shouldn't go too wrong. Number 9, widgets. Remember those little bits of code that you can add additional functionality to your sidebar, to your footer, different sections in there. So things like adding subscription code for your email provider, your email marketing provider will tend to be a widget. And then number 10, plugins. So plugins are slightly bigger programs that add additional functionality to your core WordPress dashboard. So that could be things like things as simple as adding lines of text, or perhaps improving the SEO of your WordPress. It could be about adding a contact form, or it could be something entirely different. Don't add too many plugins because of course that may slow down your site. But follow the steps and then play around in your child theme. And then tell me, hopefully in the comments, how it went for you. I'd love to hear from you as well. So that really does take us up towards the end of the course. Hopefully by now you feel quite a bit more comfortable with what WordPress is and how it can really benefit your business. And hopefully by now you understand that you needn't spend loads and loads of money on a CMS, a content management system, or an expensive website design. Yes, there are instances when it's necessary to spend lots of money on a website design, but a lot of businesses spend money that they don't have to. So you need to be clever and invest in the right areas, and hopefully that means a little bit of training and a little bit of perhaps design, a few nice logos, just to complement a really nice child theme within the Genesis framework. I think the three most important things that I would highlight is, first of all, don't skimp on hosting. Now, you can perhaps get away with HostGator for a while, or a service like that when you talk about their shared hosting service. But if you use a specialist WordPress host, your website loading time can be just half the amount, and that can be an incredible difference in terms of site performance and the perception of the professionalism of your brand. Next, I would say get a decent site framework and a decent child theme. Look through 50, 100 different child themes. Get the child theme that's absolutely right for your business. And then thirdly, I would say put the work in. You know, spend a day or two re-immersing yourself in WordPress and understanding what widgets do, what plugins there are, you know, what different facets of your child theme are, and how different areas work. Because if you just understand the basics of how it can work, then you'll understand how to lead perhaps a designer in the future, and you'll get a designer to do a WordPress website in the way that you want it done, rather than actually getting the designer to design code in a way that perhaps isn't that efficient. Because there are a lot of designers out there that design beautiful designs, but perhaps in a fairly inefficient way with big bulky images and lots of code behind that. So you want the framework of your site to be very, very, very efficient. And to do that, of course, use the Genesis framework and a decent child theme, and then you can amend that child theme after that. Just a few other thoughts. Now, if you're not entirely confident after going through the course, and if you've got more questions, please ask questions within the conversation section. Perhaps I may even design another video or two to answer your questions. So give me the opportunity to answer your questions. I really would like to hear from you. And of course, if you love the course and you're fired up, raring to go, and you really got a lot out of it, I would really appreciate a good review. So if you can possibly leave, you know, a big 5-star rating and review, I would really, really appreciate that as well. And finally, of course, I've got at least another course in Udemy as well. You should check out my What is SEO course, because SEO builds on what you should do in terms of content marketing after you launch a blog or a website. But that really does take us to the end. So thank you so much for staying with me all the way. And I will, I'm sure, see you and hear from you again at some point in the near future. Bye for now.